always been a curious person. It's what got me into trouble when I was a kid, and apparently I never grew out of it. It started with a friend mentioning something in passing. He ever heard of the Red Rooms, the human auctions? I laughed it off, called it another internet urban legend, but later that night I found myself digging. The dark web was supposed to be a myth in itself, a place where you hear things but never see them. But I was always the type to see for myself. I followed a trail of forums, encrypted links, and whispers in chat rooms. Curiosity pushed me further. A login page, simple and plain, appeared after I decrypted a string of characters I barely understood. The marketplace. There was no description, no fancy graphics, just a black background and an option to enter. It felt sterile, like a catalog, but what I saw inside made my stomach twist. Listings. Dozens of them. Some sold organs, fresh, healthy, no damage. Others were offering obedient, trained individuals, like they were livestock. I clicked on a random one, not thinking, my hands slightly trembling. A woman, late 20s, blonde, shackled to a chair, eyes wide in the dim light. Bidding started at $15,000. The comments below were worse than the image. Good muscle tone. How fresh is she? Can I request special handling? I slammed my laptop shut. My heart pounded, my skin felt hot. This was real, this was real. I should have left it alone. I should have never gone back, but the next day, a new listing appeared, one that made my blood run cold. A man, mid-20s, brown hair, average build. The picture was grainy but unmistakable. It was me. I stared at the screen, my breath caught in my throat. The photo wasn't just me. It was taken recently. The dim lighting, the slouch of my posture, even the slight tilt of my head. I recognized it instantly. It was from my webcam. My mouth went dry. My eyes flicked to the price listed beneath my face. Starting bid, $25,000. Bids were already coming in. $26,500. $28,000. The numbers climbed like I was nothing more than a commodity. I jerked my laptop shut and scrambled back from my desk like it might lunge at me. My stomach twisted, bile rising in my throat. This wasn't a joke. This wasn't some creepy forum prank. I yanked the battery from my laptop, my hands shaking so badly that I almost dropped it. My webcam had been hacked. They had been watching me. I stumbled toward my apartment door and locked it. Deadbolt, chain, anything that could keep me inside, keep them out. My mind raced. Who were they? How did they find me? How long had they been watching? Then my phone buzzed. A text. Unknown number. You shouldn't have looked. I swore under my breath, my vision blurring with panic. They knew. They knew I saw the listing. They knew I was afraid. Another text. Run. I nearly dropped the phone. My legs felt numb. My ears rang with the silence in my apartment. Then, a sound. A soft, deliberate knock on my front door. Not a normal knock. 3 slow, rhythmic taps. Like someone was announcing themselves. I backed away. My apartment was on the 3rd floor. No fire escape, no back entrance. Just me and whoever was on the other side of that door. Then I heard it, the faintest click as the doorknob twisted. I hadn't just been found. They were already inside. The doorknob turned slowly, deliberately. I couldn't move. My body felt disconnected from my brain, frozen in a primal, gut-wrenching terror. Then, a creak. The door didn't open all the way, just a fraction of an inch. Enough for me to see the gloved fingers wrapped around the edge, enough to see the sliver of black fabric behind it. I snapped out of my trance and ran. The only escape was the window. 3rd floor or not, I wasn't staying. I crashed through my desk, knocking over my lamp, barely registering the pain as I grabbed the window latch. It was jammed, stuck. My fingers clawed at it, frantic, desperate. Behind me, the door opened. A voice. Smooth, quiet, sold. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I threw my shoulder into the window, shoving it open just as footsteps rushed toward me. The cold night air hit me like a slap, and I lunged forward. My foot slipped. I fell, but not far. My ribs slammed against something solid, a metal railing, the narrow balcony from the apartment below. My hands scrambled for purchase, nails scraping the rusted iron. I held on. Barely. Above me, a face appeared in my window, featureless, a black mask, hollow eyes staring down, watching. Then they stepped back, disappearing into my apartment, into the dark. I didn't wait to see if they would return. I climbed over the railing, dropping into the alley below, hitting the ground hard enough to rattle my teeth. My ankle twisted under me, but I ran anyway. I ran until my lungs burned, until my vision blurred, until the city light swallowed me whole. I never went back to that apartment, never checked my laptop again, never spoke about what happened. But sometimes, when I sleep, I see that auction page, my picture, my name, the bids climbing higher and higher, and in the back of my mind, I hear it sold. It started as a joke, a late-night Discord call, half-drunk friends swapping internet horror stories, someone mentioning the threshold. "It's a game," Josh said, his voice thick with amusement, "only found on the dark web. It dares you to do things. The deeper you go, the worse it gets." We laughed, because of course it wasn't real, just another urban legend. But later that night, alone in my apartment, curiosity gnawed at me. The name felt like a challenge. I shouldn't have searched for it. Finding it wasn't easy. A hidden forum, buried under layers of encryption. A simple page, black screen, white text. "Welcome to the threshold. One rule. If you play, you cannot stop. Complete the task, advance the game. Failure is not an option." I should have closed the window, but instead I typed a single word: play. The screen went black. Then, a new message. "Level 1, call the number below. Do not speak. Do not hang up until we do." A phone number appeared. No country code, just numbers. My stomach twisted. It was late. I was alone, but I dialed. The line clicked. Silence. Then breathing, deep, slow, listening. I gripped my phone, heartbeat hammering. What was I doing? Finally a whisper. "Welcome, player 407, we see you." My window creaked. My blood turned to ice. I was on the 3rd floor. I froze. The phone was still pressed to my ear, the whisper lingering in my head like an echo. "We see you." I turned, slow and stiff, toward my window. The blinds were down, closed. Hadn't I closed them? Another message flashed on my screen. "Level 2, open the blinds." My throat felt tight. I didn't want to. Every instinct screamed at me to power down my laptop, throw my phone into the toilet, and pretend this never happened. But the rule: failure is not an option. I stood. My feet felt heavy as I crossed the room, hand trembling as I reached for the cord. With one slow pull, the blinds lifted. The street below was empty. No cars, no people, just dim, flickering streetlights. And yet, something felt wrong. Then my phone buzzed again. A new text, a picture of me standing at the window, taken from across the street. I spun around, chest heaving. My apartment was locked. No one could have gotten in. My laptop chimed. Another task. "Level 3, leave your apartment, walk to the nearest streetlight, wait." I swallowed hard. My mind screamed no, but my hands were already moving, grabbing my hoodie, my keys. My body felt detached from my brain, like I was on autopilot, like the game had already gotten inside me. The hallway was silent, too silent. The air felt thick, like the walls were pressing in. As I stepped outside, the streetlights buzzed, flickering slightly. The pavement was wet, though it hadn't rained. I stood beneath the nearest light, waiting. Another text. "Look left." I turned. A man stood across the street, tall, motionless, wearing a black hoodie, face obscured. He wasn't moving, just watching. My phone buzzed again. "Level 4, run." The man stepped off the curb, coming toward me. I ran. My feet pounded the pavement, breath coming in sharp gasps as I sprinted down the empty street. I didn't look back. I couldn't. Another buzz. New task. Level 5, hide. I veered into an alley, heart hammering. My lungs burned, my legs ached, but I forced myself into the shadows, pressing against a dumpster. Footsteps, slow, measured. The man in the hoodie, he didn't run, didn't rush. He walked because he knew I had nowhere to go. My phone vibrated again. Level 6, do not move. I squeezed my eyes shut, biting my lip so hard I tasted blood. The footsteps stopped. Then, a click. Not from my phone, from right in front of me. My eyes snapped open. He was standing there, less than 5 feet away, holding his own phone. Its screen glowed in the darkness, and on it, a countdown. 10, 9, 8. I tried to swallow, but my throat was dry. My entire body screamed at me to run, fight, do something, anything. My phone buzzed one last time. Final level. Survive. The man took a step forward. The timer reached 3. I lunged, not away from him, at him. He wasn't expecting it. I crashed into him, knocking the phone from his hands. It shattered against the pavement. 2, I ran, bolted back onto the main road, sprinting so fast my vision blurred. 1, then silence. No explosion, no scream, no sound of pursuit. I stopped, turned. The alley was empty. The man was gone. His phone, too. My own phone screen was black. The game had shut down. I stood there, gasping for breath, my entire body trembling. I never went home that night. I stayed in a motel, disconnected from everything. When I finally worked up the nerve to check my laptop, the game was gone. No login page, no forum. No trace that it had ever existed, but sometimes in the dead of night, my phone vibrates. No number, no caller ID, just a single word flashing on the screen. Play. Loneliness does things to a man. It makes him desperate, makes him ignore red flags, makes him stupid. That's how I ended up on Heart's Desire. It wasn't your usual dating app. No ads, no verification process, no annoying pop-ups. Just a black screen, white text, and a single question. What are you looking for? I typed the truth. Connection. The response came instantly. Welcome. We'll find your perfect match. No endless swiping, no awkward bios. Just a single profile appearing on my screen minutes later. Her name was Lena. Dark hair, pale skin, blue eyes so sharp they almost hurt to look at. Her bio was short, looking for something real, no games. There was something off about her picture. Not a catfish, not fake, just too perfect. Like she was waiting for me. Still, I messaged her. Hey, Lena. She responded immediately. I've been waiting for you. I should have closed the app, blocked her, but I didn't. Because for the first time in a long time, someone wanted me. And that's how the game began. Lena and I talked for hours. Her replies came fast, like she was always there, waiting. She knew things about me, too many things. My favorite books, my childhood pet, the name of the coffee shop I visited every morning. I never told her any of that. I ignored the sinking feeling in my gut. Maybe I had posted it online before, maybe she was just observant. Then she asked, can we meet? I hesitated. She sent me an address. No time, no instructions, just coordinates leading to a place on the outskirts of the city. Don't make me wait. Something about the way she said it made my skin crawl. I typed, I don't think I can. Her response, you already said yes. My stomach dropped. I never said yes. I locked my phone and tossed it on my nightstand. Enough. That's when my doorbell rang. I lived alone. I didn't move. Didn't breathe. Another ring, longer, more insistent. My phone vibrated. A new message from Lena. I'm outside. The air felt thick, suffocating. Slowly I crept to the window, pulling back the curtain just an inch. And there she was, standing on my porch, smiling. She wasn't alone. 3 figures in black hoodies stood behind her, motionless, watching. My phone vibrated again. Let us in. I didn't move. didn't breathe. Outside, Lena tilted her head like she could see me through the tiny gap in the curtain. Another message flashed on my screen. "We know you're home." One of the hooded figures stepped forward and placed something on my doormat. A small black box. Then they left. No knocking, no threats, no forcing their way inside, just waiting. I stood frozen for what felt like hours. My phone buzzed again. Open it. I didn't want to, but I had to know. With shaking hands, I unlocked my door, just enough to reach. The box was small, plain, with no markings. It was cold. I carried it inside, placed it on my coffee table, lifted the lid. Inside was a USB drive. My pulse thundered as I plugged it into my laptop. A single file appeared. Perfect _match MP4. I clicked it. The video was grainy, dimly lit. A woman sat in a chair, wrists bound, head hanging forward. Her black hair cascaded over her face. My stomach twisted. Lena. Then suddenly, she lifted her head, and it wasn't her. It was me. My own face, swollen, bruised, terrified. My lips moved, but no sound came out. A shadow passed across the screen. A figure stepping into frame. Someone stood behind me. A gloved hand reached down, tilting my head upward. Then the screen went black. My phone buzzed. "We'll see you soon." I left that night, grabbed my keys, ran out the door, and never looked back. I didn't go home. Didn't touch my phone. I burned my laptop in a dumpster 3 blocks away. I still don't know who they were, what they wanted, but sometimes when I walk down a crowded street, I swear I see her. A woman with long black hair and blue eyes, watching, waiting for the next match.